listeners, and welcome to the NKNews Podcast. I'm your host, Jacco Zwetsloot, and today, the day of this recording, it is Thursday, the 20th of January in Seoul, and I'm joined via Zoom by Ms. Jung Yuna, who now lives in South Korea, but was born and raised in North Korea, and we're going to talk about organizational life in North Korea. Before we get started, I would like to give all of our listeners three brief messages. Please, number one, leave a review of the podcast so that people can find us. Number two, check out nknews.org and consider buying a subscription. That helps to fund the excellent journalism that my colleagues put out every day and also this podcast. Thirdly, check out nknews.org/shop for our North Korea leadership chart, art posters, and more. As always, if you have any feedback, questions, or guest recommendations, you can send them to us at podcast@nknews.org. Okay, to introduce today's guest more properly, my guest today, Jung Yuna, grew up in Jagang province in North Korea and was studying music at Kim Jong-suk University when she left North Korea in 2008 and came to South Korea. She's now working as a public speaker, a YouTuber, and a Unification Institute lecturer. You can find her on Instagram at LoveYuna88 and on YouTube at Hanbando Gongju 1 Korea or Jung Yuna TV. We're going to put those links on the podcast notes. Yuna, thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So I really wanted to talk a bit more with a North Korean about organizational life because it's an interesting topic and an important one. We haven't really done a deep dive into the details about it before. But I thought before we get started, could you tell us a little bit about your life and family background in North Korea?
Okay. I was born in Jagang province, as Jacco mentioned at the beginning of this video. And my father was a military general. So, yeah, my father was very loyal to the government. So,
that's a good family background in North Korea.
Living in North Korea, it's a good family background.
Right.
So my childhood and everything until the university, everything was okay until I went to Haeryong City. It's very near to China.
Right.
My university, Kim Jong-suk University, located in Haeryong
City. In where? Sorry, say again.
Kim Jong-suk University, university I went.
Is in which city?
Haeryong. It's very northern of North Korea.
Right.
So, as I told you, my family was very loyal and very obedient. But when I went there, finally I tasted South Korean dramas and songs and everything. So South Korean dramas actually changed my mind and everything. Yeah. So, my family was okay. I didn't escape because of any starvation or hard life or something like that. It was just like, I just wanted to live in South Korea and I just wanted to have that kind of freedom and human rights South Korean had on that dramas.
Which dramas in particular were attractive to you?
There are many, but one drama actually hit my heart maybe was 가을 동화.
Okay, I've not seen that one, but is it a love story?
It is a love story. Yeah, as you know, North Korean movies and dramas, they are always talking about Kim's dynasty and how great they are and supreme leader sacrifice himself, something like that, right?
Right.
But South Korean dramas are totally different than what I saw previous.
Did you also watch Winter Sonata, 겨울 Sonata, I think it's called?
No, I don't think so.
Actually, I might have the Korean name of that one wrong. It's 겨울 something. The English title, the English name is Winter Sonata. It was very popular in the early 2000s in South Korea and also in Japan.
Okay. Maybe then it is in Korea. It's North Korea too.
Perhaps, yeah. It's the drama that made Pae Jung-jun famous.
겨울연가.
There you go. I got it wrong.
Right.
겨울연가.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was really popular in North Korea too.
Yes. Did the young couples in North Korea also began wearing fancy scarves like in Gyeongbokgung? Because that was a really big trend.
Yes. They wanted to wear that kind of style, but as you know, North Korea is very like what is that like kind of jail. So
I see.
we cannot wear South Korean styles and something like that. But younger generation, they always want to wear that like that.
Right. Now, you were studying music at Kim Jong-suk University. What was your plan for the future if you were going to stay in North Korea? What do you think you would have become?
If I graduated that university, I would be a teacher, music teacher in the elementary school.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't finish the school. I just left when I at the second year of university, so I couldn't finish.
Right. And Kim Jong-suk, of course, is the mother of. Hang on, let me get this right. It's the mother of Kim Jong-il, is it? Yeah, the wife of Kim Il-sung.
Right.
Right. Sometimes I lose track because I know that Kim Il-sung's had a couple of wives and Kim Jong-il's had a couple of wives, and sometimes I lose it. But I know that there is a novel or a book called The Mother of Korea, and it's about Kim Jong-suk. So that's the kind of title she has now. She's very important.
Right. You're right. Yes.
So going to a school named after Kim Jong-suk, that means it's an important school. It's a good school, right?
Because Haryong is the place Kim Jong-suk was born.
Ah, okay, there you go. So that's her birthplace, her hometown.
Right. So the university got her name, and then also it was given by Kim Jong-suk.
Right. Now, when you left North Korea, how did you leave?
First of all, you need to get a BROC or soldier, like a board guard, someone who, border guard, someone who can help you.
Yes.
So first of all, I found a border guard.
Yep.
He was a commander.
Mm-hmm.
So I paid him, and then he just helped me to cross Tuma River.
Ah, okay. Do you remember how much money it was back in 2008?
Yeah, I paid $50.
Oh, you actually paid in American money?
Yeah, because at that time, it started to save North Korean people try to save dollars instead of North Korean money.
Okay, so you gave him $50 American, and that was enough to get you over the Tumen River.
Right. That time it wasn't that expensive.
But
now it's really, really expensive.
Right, I can imagine. Okay, so that's a bit about your background, what you were doing. You were from a loyal family. Your father was a general. Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have one older brother.
Okay, and did you all come out together, or did you come out of North Korea by yourself?
I came first, and then my father secondly, my mother third, and then lastly my brother.
Oh, so everybody's
all
out
separately. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And did they all do the same thing? Did they all pay $50 to a border guard to get across?
No. Everyone paid different amount of money.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So organizational life, we hear about it sometimes. There's an article about it on NK News. There's also a good article at Daily NK about organizational life. In North Korean, the term is 조직생활, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they don't use that word in South Korea. Is that correct? There is no 조직생활 concept in South Korea.
No. Not in here.
So it's a very North Korean thing. So what does organizational life mean to a North Korean person?
Organizational life is everything in North Korea. You start when you're aged like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Even your what is that? Daycare or what is that? After daycare.
Daycare or preschool.
Kindergarten. Yeah. It starts actually at the kindergarten too.
Right.
So 조직생활, I started 조직생활 when I was 4 in kindergarten.
When you're in kindergarten, what actually is 조직생활? What does it mean?
like make kids make a line and sing same song and what is it, like shouting same slogan and you have to vote vote the Kim Il Sung's what is
the
it?
portraits
Mhm.
of Kim Il Sung and Kim Jong Il.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to vote all together at the
Okay.
same time.
Uh-huh.
So 10 or 20 kids have to move or have to active as a one person.
Yes. Okay. So that's that sort of the concept of ilshim dangyal, right? The single-minded
Right.
unity,
Yeah.
the single-minded solidarity. But
Mhm.
okay, that then it makes it difficult for me to understand it, because I think it sounds like everything you do in North Korea is organizational life, but surely not
Mhm.
everything can be organizational life. What are there any activities which are not part of organizational life?
I don't think so.
So, for
When
example,
you're in school,
when you're in school, yeah,
when you're in company or wherever that your workplace,
yes,
you are already part in the organizational life. So maybe after work, when you
mm-hmm.
come to home, maybe it could be have some kind of little bit of freedom.
Okay. So it's when you're at home. It is okay.
But
Right.
that's not actually totally free,
I see.
because North Korea has like one village has number like a 1반, 2반, 3반, something like that.
Right.
So three houses make one number like a 1반. Okay.
3 houses.
And then one village, two
Yes.
village, number 3 village, something like that. So every single village has dean or what is it, leader.
Yes.
So the leader always watching on you.
Okay.
Like
So,
some for example, even in the midnight or whatever the night, if somebody actually visited your house,
yes.
the leader always watching, because it's someone who is not lead that village.
Right.
Then the leader can be visit your house without any
warning,
paper or without any reason. They're just burst in your house and then they can ask.
And they say,
who is that guy?
Who visited your house?
Right.
Right.
So
Okay.
even sleeping time or after work, I don't think the North Korean people are totally free.
Was it? Is it also the job of the local neighborhood leader to check, for example, if you are watching South Korean dramas? Is that also part of the job?
Yes. Same person.
Okay, but when you were studying in Hwaeryong, you were watching lots of South Korean dramas. Did the local Inminban leader come to check you?
If somebody report, he might watch me like 3 or 7 days or 10 days, and then if she gets some kind of like that feeling that Yuna actually watching drama,
yes,
then she will come my place without any alert.
Right.
They just bursting.
Yes, and then they say, "Oh, you're watching dramas." Now, is there a way that you can avoid a problem? Like, can you pay some money and say, pretend you didn't see me?
Yeah, you can do it, but there is no second or third time if you do it.
I see.
Because she can only give you one like chance, okay? But second or third time, she cannot actually shield that happen again. But I was in university student, right?
Yes.
So the university is just like a military. So like my music class will be one like formation. How can you say that? Like 3 people. One commander have 30.
One unit. So one unit is 3 students.
Right. So every university has like 10 or 20 units.
Okay.
So our class has like one unit. So every class has a commander.
I see.
It's the same thing in middle school and high school. It's all same.
Yeah.
So in North Korea, even you're not a soldier, even you're just like normal people,
Yes.
still you're being like a soldier.
Mhm.
There's like a rule and strict that you need to follow, and
Now, you said she. Is the Inminban leader always a woman?
more than 90%, yes.
Okay, so in a local neighborhood, in a local area, it's usually a woman who is in charge of this. And
Right.
you say that, she's in charge of making sure that you don't receive strange visitors at nighttime and that you're not watching illegal videos. But are there also some practical things that she does, like, for example, organizing the cleaning of the local neighborhood, or repairing of a house or a bridge or something like that?
Yes. And then also gathering money too.
What
for
kind
the
of money?
country. We said 충성의 자금 means
Okay.
like honorary payment for Kim's, I don't know, like Kim Jong-un, for Kim Jong-un.
Oh, okay. Oh, so for the birthday, for example, maybe for the birthday of the leader, or the day of the sun, the 태양의, you might raise money for that?
Something like that. Like North Korea has national celebrating dates, right?
Yep.
So then they manage some amount of money. Then she or he, the leaders, they try to gather that money, and then they will pay that to government.
I see. Okay.
So she actually, the leader, control whole village.
Yeah.
I say, and then also the 안전원 the police officer.
Right.
They one village has their own police officer. So someone who manage or charge that village. So usually the police officer and the leader, they have good relationship.
So they work together to monitor and to police the people.
Yes. And then if Yuna have caught while watching South Korean drama, they 2 or 3 come to my place together and then ask my parents money. If you don't want your daughter be in trouble, please you pay this much of money, and then my parents pay, and then I don't know how they divide that money and get their own property.
Would it be more or less than $50?
Usually could be more than that nowadays. But back there when I was in there, it was like 2006 or 2005.
Yeah.
That time the dollar was more like value than now.
Okay.
So that back time you could pay $10 or $20. Still, it was big amount of money in North Korea.
Right. So in a village, you've got a group of houses together in a village, and that's one Inminban, and that Inminban, that local community group, has one leader. What about if you are living in an apartment building and there are maybe 2 apartments or 3 apartments on each floor? How does the Inminban system work in an apartment building?
Okay, so if you live in an apartment, the one apartment has one leader. We say dong.
For the whole building?
Yeah, whole building, we call it dong.
Dong, okay.
So maybe we said university professors apartment.
Yeah.
We say university professor dong.
Okay.
So we call it not 인민반장, we call it 동장.
동장, okay. Now, if it's a small apartment building, maybe there are only 5 floors. But if it's a big apartment building, there could be 10 or 20 floors. Is it still only one leader for the whole building?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a lot of
usually one leader has a vice leader too.
Okay.
2 or 3 people always watching the whole building or whole village.
Right.
And then for my case, I was a student in university.
Yes.
So the university has some kind of like a security people and or university police people were there, and then the same students, but they're always watching us.
So some students also have a job of watching other students.
Right.
Now, the Inminban is a group that you are a member of because you live in an area. But there are also, and you are automatically a member because you live there, right? So you cannot
automatically, yes.
But there are other groups that you don't join automatically. Of course, the most famous one is the Korean Workers' Party. And if you are a member of the Korean Workers' Party, you have a special status, and do they have
Like my father.
So your father was a member of the Korean Workers' Party. Okay, and so what kind of organizational life activities did he have to participate in as a member of the Korean Workers' Party?
Yes. You know that like every single year, at the beginning of the year, like usually January, Kim Jong-un always came out some the Joseon Nodeongdang Party Junon회, some like
Yes.
meeting. So the
Okay.
old member of the party, they have to attend that meeting and then listen to what Kim Jong-un say.
Yep.
That is gonna be the message of the whole year,
Okay.
and it's gonna be a what is it, like a target or that's something you have to do in within that year, right?
Right.
So usually member of in Joseon Nodeongdang Party, that Workers' Party, they are more difficult to be in that party because their organizational life is more harder than normal people.
So give us some examples, weekly or daily. What kind of weekly or daily activities do party members have to do?
So they, first of all, they have to pay. They have to pay for the party member. They have to pay because they are a member in the party.
Yep.
And then secondly, they have to do some kind of like 생활총화, organizational activity that you have to do something like, oh, I did in this week, I did something bad, and I did something good, and then they also like criticize each other. That
Right.
kind
So
of
the self-criticism, we've talked a little bit about that before on the podcast, that everybody has a red book to write the notes, a little bit like a diary, and you keep a record of your activities and what you did well and what you did not do well.
Right.
Is that only for party members?
No, normal people too, and then also students too.
Okay.
Even elementary school and kindergarten too.
Okay. But
you're a member of the party, you have to do it seriously.
I see.
There is no joke. But normal people, we actually, when I was in high school, I was so got tired of criticize someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that time was like starvation time.
Yes.
When I was in high school, that time was really, really hard time in North Korea. A lot of people died because of starvation. So there's no class has full of students. Okay. There are a lot of absent because of starvation. So maybe they went to mountain or field, I don't know, somewhere together, something you can eat.
Yes. Was that in the early 2000s?
Yes. Maybe later, like 90s and start 2000s. Okay. And that time, only 10 or 12 students were in class. So we couldn't have enough students to criticize someone, right? So at that time, I always like ask somebody, okay, for example, Jacco, can you criticize me? Then I will criticize you.
Right.
So we just made a joke, okay? But teacher didn't know about that.
Sure.
So we just made up story. Right?
Yes.
Because we have to be in there, but we just, made a story and made up some kind of fake story. But like my father, there is not like that.
So in the party, you really have to do it very seriously and make some criticism of somebody else in your group. Of course, also, as well as the party, there are other groups. For example, there is a women's union, right? The
right.
Was your mother a member of that?
No. Usually the military family, they're not in that group. But there is another group that 직업평연맹. You said one thing that 여성 general party is the 여성 총연맹.
Okay.
So that people usually, what is it? I forgot the word. You're not in military. What do you call the people?
Civilian.
Civilians.
Yes.
So civilians' wives group is that group.
Okay.
But usually military family, they have to be in that 직업총연맹.
Which is related to your job.
Yes, but it's not. It's like only you can only someone who wives or husband of the military.
I see.
But
Okay.
still, the government consider they have a job.
Ah, wow.
So we call it 직업 총연맹. So we just make it short, 직맹.
Qingming.
Yeah. So
Qingming.
my
Okay,
mother
right.
was 직맹
I see.
in that 직맹 party.
And what kind of activities did she do in that group?
Actually, she did a lot of military training.
Really?
Because her husband was military
Right.
officer. So she did military training and also
With a gun?
Yeah, with a gun and everything.
Wow.
But not like a soldier,
Yes.
but like one or twice in a year.
Oh, I see. Okay. So not every day.
Not every day. And then also, North Korea has a lot of soldiers compared their population.
Right.
It's too many. So when North Korea had problem with the rice and some all supplies,
Right. So
Kim
food
Jong-il
shortages.
said,
Yep.
Kim Jong-il said, you have to live by yourself, even your military base or camp. You have to farm or you have to, I don't know, like something, you have to live by yourself, something like that. That was the order. So my mother and then also the other wives of the military, they made a group and then they was farming.
And that was their organizational life, was
their
farming.
Organizational did. And then they just provide that rice or corn when the harvest time coming. They just provide that all the stuff to the military base.
Right.
Let their husbands have a job in the base.
Is it possible to be a member of multiple organizations at the same time? So, for example, could a person be a member of the party and also a member of the Jingmeng that you mentioned? Or
no. You cannot be like that. Only one party.
Okay, so every adult is a member of one organization only.
Sure. Yeah. So I was a student. There's a student party, 청년동맹.
Right.
So I was a 맹원. Okay. So you have to pay some 맹원 fee.
Is that every week or every day or every month?
Every month.
Every month.
Yeah.
Right.
But like my father, whole my family, my father only one who
earned
in
money?
That workers' party.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Member of workers' party. So member of workers' party population is not many.
Yes.
But civilians are many, right? Like farmers and just like someone who in a university student or officers, something like that. But like my father, they pay more money than we paid.
Right. And how did you get the money to pay the union fees? Did you have a job at that time?
I was a student, but they don't care.
So did you have to ask your father for money to pay your union fees?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I paid it, divide my allowance.
Right. Okay. And that's the 청년동맹 is for university student age, is it?
Like someone who are not married.
Okay, so it's really sort of young adults who are single.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Start high school.
Yep.
Until you get married.
Okay. And then before that, when you're at school, there's also a children's union, right? The 소년단 or 소년.
소년단, yes. Until 14, you're going to be in 소년단.
Okay. And here's a question. Does every child automatically become a member of the 소년단, or is there some kind of membership process and you have to ask to become a member? How does that work?
It has a really, really difficult process you have to been through.
Yeah.
I got through there is a book, 소년단원 book.
Okay.
You have to memorize all the words.
I see.
And then if the school, like a whole school has 3 classes, that 3 classes have to be in that 소년단 group. You need to go to downtown. Like there is like a 청년동맹 office every city and every province. So you have to go there.
Yeah.
When you go there, you always have to make a line and then sing together, just like a
Right. You
military,
march. Yeah.
and then march, and then we go there, and
Yeah.
then you have to wait your turn.
Mhm.
So every single student get into the room, like just like an interview.
Right. Okay.
And then if the interviewer asks you about okay, can you say 소년단원's like what is it? Certificate, not the certification, like the mandatory things you have to do. So
Okay.
there's like a duty.
Yes, the duties of a Sonyeondan member.
Right. So
Okay.
if the teacher or wherever the interviewer asks you about, can you tell me number 7 소년단원 duty?
Okay.
Then you have to say the words, or wherever you memorize the words, you have to say it right away.
Right.
And if you can't, and if you couldn't,
Yep.
they would say, okay, you're going to be next time, not this time.
Right.
Yeah. So even like, for example, 100 students went that place, and then only maybe 50% of the students got in the group.
Right.
They're so proud of themselves.
Yes. So,
And then they just look down on them. That's what government tried to make people like that, like fighting each other with loyalty.
Yeah. And were you able to join the Children's Union after your first test, or did you have to do it 2 or 3 times?
I did the first time. It was Kim Jong-il's birthday. So they got the time with Kim Jong-il's birthday date.
Yep.
So someone who got the 소년단원 group in for the Kim Jong-il's birthday date, that means you're very loyal. Very loyal.
Okay. And then is it correct that only the members of the Children's Union can wear the red scarf?
Right. That's correct. So something like I said earlier that if, for example, 100 people, students went there, but only maybe 30 people got the pass, then next day of that day, they always wear the necktie, right?
Right, the red necktie, yeah.
Yeah, but someone who couldn't pass that test, they always like looked at us like, oh, I'm so envy you and something like that, jealous, and I wanna wear that necktie too, something like that.
I'm curious, what were other consequences for the children who couldn't join the Children's Union? Maybe they're not good at memorizing something, or they said the wrong thing 3 times and they couldn't join. What happens to them? Can they live a normal life as a school child, or? No,
if you really or like if you really have a problem with memorizing words or something that maybe the teacher would not like that student, usually the teacher doesn't give the student chance to get the in the group. So everything is about the what is that, money? Where is it? I forgot the word.
You mean a bribe?
Bribe, yeah. So you have to pay it, right? So usually students are crying after the test if they couldn't pass.
Yes.
And then they go to home and ask parents money to pay the teacher. But usually someone who cannot be in the group maybe within a year or 2 years, finally, eventually, they're going to be in that group, but automatically. Because their age is going to be over age. Then they're going to be in the party automatically. Like there is no chance. Just like, okay, you're going to be in group, but they're not good.
Okay, wow. So when you were at university and you were a member of the 청년 동맹, the youth alliance, was everybody at university a member of that, or were there some students who were not members?
Automatically, when you graduated high school.
Oh, I see.
You're being that 청년 동맹 group. But there is also a 수첩, like a little notebook.
Yes.
That has the duty, like regulations and
the rules
and strict everything. So you have to memorize that thing too.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Yeah. So when you be in that group, you will get the Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-il's badge, like said 청년 동맹.
Yep.
So there's like always have a badge, like what can you call it badge?
Yeah,
What is
call it
it?
a badge. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
badge.
So you always get that badge like 소년단원 too, and then
Yeah.
also 청년동맹 too.
Is every North Korean adult a member of some kind of group or organization?
Yes. If you in the like some factory member,
Mm-hmm.
there is always party member of party.
Yeah.
So he or she is in there as a leader or watcher.
Mm-hmm.
So like 생활청화, they always manage the 생활청화, and then they're always watching on the people, someone who is working correctly or good or bad. So they're always watching the people.
Right.
So they managing all the stuff that actually get the rules from the government or Kim Jong-un's message or whatever. They always deliver the message and then make people follow that message and then also active like that or being like that. So they're always watching the people like that.
So if you cannot join the Korean Workers' Party, does that mean you must be automatically a member of a work group?
Right.
Like a factory group or an office group or something?
Right. North Korea is like a pyramid.
Yes.
So Kim Jong-un is here, like we call it brain.
Okay.
Sune, brain. Yeah. And then here's like a brain and head is a Kim Jong-un. And then you have like some kind of bloodline and then flash and everything, right?
Yeah.
So we call it like 세포.
Cell.
I don't know.
Cells.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every single company and every single organizations have that cells.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's always a leader from the Workers' Party.
Okay.
So the Workers' Party gave them the duty to go to somewhere and then being a leader and then watching on them.
And does the leader from the party who is in the local cell, does he or she also do the normal work? So, for example, if you are in a factory and somebody from the party comes to run that factory, does he also do factory work or is he only doing?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. He has his own position.
Yeah.
In the factory.
Okay.
And then also watching on them. So we call it 세포반장.
세포반장. Okay. So he's a cell leader, but he's also a factory worker. So he kind of has two jobs in a way.
Right.
Or she, yeah. Okay. So everyone is a member of some kind of organization. Your father was a member. Has to be. Your father was a member of the party. Your mother was a member of the 직업 총동맹, which is for wives of military members.
And then also a university, some kind of condition that military wives and then also doctors' wives. But usually doctors' wives live in a village, so then they be part of the 여성청년맹. But usually 90% of 직업청년맹 members are military wives.
Okay. All right. So the 직업 in the word 직업 normally means job, but this is actually, it's not about the wife's job, it's actually about the husband's job.
Right. So follow the husband's job.
I see. Okay. Your brother, you have a brother. What group was he a member of before he left North Korea?
He was in the military, and then he was just simple soldier. So he was in military training, and then also soldiers have some kind of like 방식상학.
Yep.
It's like a teaching something about the loyalty. You have to use your body for the Kim Jong-un, and then use your body, sacrifice yourself for the country, something like that. And also they teach them. There's like a regulation, like education regulations for the soldiers, that how Kim Il-sung fought the
against
Japan.
the Japanese,
yeah, something like that. So there's like always called it 방식상학. So they have to be in the class every single week.
Yeah. So it's basically learning the life story of the great leader Kim Il-sung and the life story of the dear leader Kim Jong-il and the life story of now the great General Kim Jong-un.
That is the main point the North Korea government make people organizational life.
So it's a lot of time that you spend every week, every day, learning about the life of Kim Jong-il, Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-un.
Mm-hmm. And then also we have only one channel, right? North Korea has only one national TV channel. Also, the TV channel shows people a lot of documentaries about Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Still, they teach about history of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un every single day.
Now, so where you grew up in Jagang-do, there was only one channel, but I think the people in Pyongyang, maybe they're luckier because they have two or three channels. Yeah. Okay. So in your province, you had just one channel.
One channel. Joseon Jungang Television. Only one channel.
Now, in North Korea, there is this concept of songbun, a sort of family background, family status. How does different songbun status affect your organizational life activities?
Usually civilians, they didn't get any affection or effect of Seonggun 정치.
Okay.
But Kim Jong-il's time, the Seonggun 정치 word came out because at time, Kim Jong-il retired from the International Missile Association. I don't know.
Oh, the non-proliferation treaty.
Yeah, that thing. And then he actually gave message to the military soldiers that we have to be strong. So he said 자위 국방력. Okay, self-defense. We have to self-defend ourselves from sworn enemy, like the Americans and then South Koreans.
And Japan.
So at that time, he said, all civilians and whole North Korean people except military people had to support military people. That means Seonggun 정치. So my father was a soldier and then he was a military officer and he was general. So because of Kim Jong-il's word Seonggun 정치, we got a lot of privileged. Right.
Okay. So does that mean that when you say privilege, does that mean you could avoid some activities?
You cannot. Okay. You cannot avoid any activity, but the supplies came from somewhere. That's the reason I wasn't starved. I wasn't, what is that?
You were not hungry?
I had enough food and enough meat or enough supplies because Kim Jong-un always, and then at his generation, he always like focused on military first.
Right. So the military first. So because your family was from this military background, therefore you benefited from the from Kim Jong-il's Songun politics, the military first politics.
You said, how can you avoid the organizational life, right?
Yes.
So there is like a organizational mobilization. Like you have to be in the farm and you have to be in some workplace, and then forcefully we have to go there and then help them. Okay. We said 농촌 동원.
So a mobilization.
Yeah, but if you have a if you have a strong wealthy father or mother, you can just place the money. You can just exchange the money. Like if you have a lot of money, you can just call the teacher. Oh, can you please, Yuna is not being the what is that, mobilization?
Yeah, so that's right. That don't send Yuna to the farm or to the building site or something.
Right. Or the organizational labor work. So then teacher said, okay, then you have to pay money or you have to give us some corn or rice. Then she just pay money and I cannot go. That's the only way you cannot be in organizational life activity.
Now you lived in Jagang province when you were young with your parents in the north of North Korea. Did you have family relatives in other provinces, and did you hear from them that organizational life was somehow different in different places?
Usually my relatives living in that time, they live in Pyongyang and Pyongan-bukdo and also Hamgyong-bukdo. But the organizational life and the message is the same and rule is same. But as I said, if you have a lot of money,
Yes.
you can avoid instead of paying money.
Okay. So.
And then also you need to go to doctor.
Yeah.
And then get fake diagnosis.
Okay.
That I have some kind of like disease and illness, so I cannot be in that labor or something like that.
Right.
And then you can just pay. You can just make it the fake paper, and then just submit that paper, and then also pay money. And you cannot be in that labor work.
Okay, but the practice of the activities of organizational life was the same in Pyongyang and in Hamgyeongbuk-do and in Jagongdo. Oh, it's different.
No. Yeah, usually Jagong province and Pyongyang city.
Yes.
Like the place Kim Jong-un think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Then that people are more like active than the other places.
More active. So more
active. More stressful because you have to be the students or especially in Pyongyang, a lot of students and high school students and elementary school students, they always have to be in the street and make a line and make some formation and performances, everything like that, right?
Yeah.
But in like countryside,
right,
students they don't have to be make a formation or line or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's then let's say maybe that point, maybe living in countryside is better than Pyongyang city, but Pyongyang city people, they have they're citizens, so they really proud of themselves. We were Gongmin, like a North Korean, like a Gongmin. We said Gongmin, but only someone who's living in Pyongyang, they get citizen.
I see.
So usually Pyongyang people, because they're citizen,
yes,
because of that, they look down on countryside people.
When you make this difference between being a citizen and a gongmin, does that mean, like, is there a different kind of card, a different identification
card, different ID, and different passport?
Really?
Yeah.
So really, Pyongyang is like a different country.
Totally different country. The ID and ID is different, and their passport is same, but usually only Pyongyang people easily can go out with a passport. Okay,
so for young children, at least, it seems like, if I understand correctly, it seems like the essence of organizational life is a lot of marching, a lot of singing. A lot of listening to stories about Kim Il-sung's life, and writing in the Red Book about your self-criticism and criticizing others. That's basically and sometimes cleaning and working, cleaning the street and working in the farm. Is that
cleaning the statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il? And then also the school and every village have 연구실. It's about like a church.
Well, yes.
Yeah, Kim Il-sung Church, okay? So you have to be in that room every one or twice in a week.
Yeah.
So you have to be in that room without shoes or wherever. You have to be decent, wear and clean socks. And then you be in that room, has a lot of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il's pictures and everything in there. And then you need to be a very royal, and you need to be very calm, and So we have that class once or twice in a week.
And how long is each class? How long were you in that young
40 minutes.
40 minutes. So it's actually, it's pretty short. It sounds not very long.
No, it's a 45 minutes, just like mathematics or chemistry class.
Like a class in school.
Class.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a class. It's a school regulations have that kind of program.
And so what is the structure of the 45 minutes? How do you begin? What do you do first, and what's next? How does it go?
Just like a Bible, Jacco, just like a Bible. When you enter the elementary school, like 1 year of the school, you will start baby Kim Il-sung. Okay, how he thought differently, how he was great, and something, making thoughts.
Yep.
So every single class until they graduating the school, like within 12 years,
Right.
you will finish the history of Kim Il-sung, basic history. And then when you're in the university, we will start another season 2 Kim Il-sung's history,
Wow.
like after Korean War,
Okay.
let's say. But before Korean War, how he defeated Japanese soldier and Japanese fighters and something like that.
Yeah.
That could be until graduating the school within 12 years.
So
every single school has that room, 연구실. We call it 연구실.
And who leads the 45-minute session? Is there like a special leader or a teacher for that?
There is a teacher, someone who graduated like 사범대학, like a teacher university.
Yep.
He studied only history of Kim's dynasty. So we have Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-suk's history teacher.
Right.
So there is teacher. He's not gonna teach mathematics or chemistry or art or whatever. He only teaches history of Kim's family.
That's a very, very specialized job.
Specialized, yes. So every school has a different thing. Like that's the biggest different thing compared to South Korea or America or whatever the other countries that has history teacher, but only Kim's history teacher.
Have you, in your time in South Korea, have you visited any churches or religious institutions in South Korea?
I did.
So how does this weekly or twice weekly Kim Il-sung study session, how does this compare with the religious service in a South Korean church? Did you find many similarities between them?
Similarity is that singing.
Okay, tell us about the singing.
Yeah, like how great is God and God loves us.
Yep.
So Kim Il-sung actually copied exactly same rule from the Catholic or church activity.
Right.
But North Korean, how could you say that? But North Korean way is more fanatic, more like exaggerate and more. What is it?
So sort of there's more people put more emotion into their singing.
Like more like crazier.
So
crying.
So every week you're in this room for 45 minutes, and every week people cry. Is that's normal?
Not every week, but several times in a year, like Kim Jong-il's birthday, Kim Jong-il's date, and Kim Il-sung's birthday, Kim Il-sung's date, something like that. The national activity, people are crying still, and then sometimes they watch a documentary of Kim Jong-un. They cry because Kim Jong-un lost the weight.
Ah, yes. You heard this now. Of course, this is after you left North Korea, so you heard this from more recent defectors who came from North Korea. Did you?
Yeah. Because I'm a YouTuber, so I meet a lot of like a new coming North Korean people, like someone who came here 2020.
Yeah.
So I asked them, North Korean people are still like that, like loyal to the government.
Yeah.
They usually say younger generations are different, but still, North Korea exists because of their loyalty.
Yeah.
Right? So still people are crying sometimes because of Kim Jong-un, because of the documentary said Kim Jong-un is sacrificed himself and he worked so much, that's why he lost weight, something like that. So they're just like, persuade people and lie to them, brainwash them.
When you came out of North Korea, that was 2008. So at that time, of course, Kim Jong-il was the leader. Since then, Kim Jong-il died. Kim Jong-un became the new leader. Have you heard about any changes in the organizational life that happened after you left?
Yes, I heard that someone who came here 2020 and 2019, they told me that organizational life is more harder than when I was there.
Does that mean more labor or more writing in the Red Book about self-criticism?
More stronger means that when I was in there, when I watched the South Korean dramas, they always gave me one or two chances that you can change. But now, if you hear one South Korean song, they put them in a jail. There's no mercy.
No mercy, right.
So it's more stronger than father's time. And then more gathering money, and then more labor work. They said it's getting worse.
Right. Yeah. In your opinion, how important is people's participation in organizational life? How important is that to the functioning of the North Korean system?
As I told you, there's no way you can avoid the organizational life. If you avoid without any pay or without any report, they could kill you because they will make you like a prisoner and frame you that you don't have any royalty of Kim Jong-un. So it's always being a trouble with the political way. So the North Korean government knows that organizational life can make North Korean people put together, make one group and then one cell.
Yeah.
So then they can control them easily. So without organizational life or activity, North Korean government cannot exist.
Right. So if somehow tomorrow, if these self-criticism sessions and the Kim Il-sung worship sessions, if they ended tomorrow, do you think that the North Korean government could continue to be the government of North Korea?
No. If there is no strict rules or some kind of things that you cannot do, then suddenly North Korean people will get freedom. And they will watch more South Korean dramas, and they will more curious, and then they're ambitious about the outside of North Korea, and they will right away do it in like an active way. Then their like brain or the information will go through the North Korea, and the people will know about outside of North Korea. So the North Korean government, they always, and then they try to sustain their regime until forever.
Yeah.
That's what North Korea say. So until the North Korea government or Kim's dynasty is existing in North Korea, organizational life activity will go together. Because they want to control people, and they want to brainwash them, and they want to make them as a robot.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, follow my lead.
Tell me about free time in North Korea. If you are working and you are, or you are a student and you're also a member of an organization, you have these duties, these responsibilities. How much free time do you have, and how do you use it in North Korea?
I was a university student, so I can only tell you about university life. So after the class, you will have a free time. But usually you will do your homework and cleaning your house, and then there is no like PC room or noraebang or bar. So there's not much thing that you can do after class. So after class, you always like watch TV if there is electricity.
Okay, yeah.
And then usually you do homework and house chore. And usually I went to bed 8 or 9 because there is no electricity 24/7 like here.
Yeah.
So not enough books you can read.
Yeah.
So I don't think I did many activities when I had a free time in North Korea. No memory.
What about your father and mother? What did they do in their free time? Did they have any hobbies?
No. There's no hobby. North Korean people cannot have a hobby like here. Like you go to ski resort or gym or movie theater. There's no something like that.
But what about making something or painting or drawing or?
Painting, drawing is also a very expensive activity. So it cannot be a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a job, but not could be a hobby. But some people, they like knitting sweater or socks, something like that. But it's not a hobby. It's about survival. Okay, not enough supplies. So usually when they came home from work, we just had a dinner and that's all. And we just went to bed. There's no, and then also we don't have freedom to move other province and some other places like here. When you move to another province, you always have to get a permission first, like a visa. But it's not easy to get a visa. So North Korean people usually they don't know the place outside of their own province.
How many days a week do people normally work in North Korea? Is it a 5 day?
6 days in a week.
It's a 6 day. Okay, so you have a 1 day weekend.
Sunday.
And what did you and your parents usually do on the 1 day weekend?
When I was young, I played with friends, like traditional play game, and it was if it was winter time, I went to mountain and do like swimming or just slide.
Snow sledding.
Yeah, and then also North Korea, it's just like 100 years ago. So you had to do a lot of house chore. You need to get the water from the wells and river, and then also cleaning clothes when it's sunrise. And so there's not much time to do something with my parents still. And then also the school always give you homework, but sometimes the school give you ridiculous homework, like gather poop. Okay, or
your own poop or somebody else's poop?
Doesn't matter, just poop. But it has to be own. You have to like kilogram that you have to make. So if the school said, okay, Yuna, you're gonna be have to provide poop like 20 kilograms, then I just call my classmates and then make one pair. And then get the snow slide and get the bucket. And then we always like what is it, fooling around the village and then gather dog's food or wherever the poops. We just gathered and picked.
Wow. What did you, that was homework, but you brought it to school. What happened to the poop when you brought it to school?
They just make like mountain of the poop and then they just they give them or give it to farm for the next farming.
Okay, so it sounds like there is a practical reason for gathering the poop.
Yeah, because North Korea doesn't have enough chemical
fertilizer.
Yes.
Yeah. Were there any in your time in North Korea in the organizational life activities? Were there any moments of fun?
Yeah, it was fun because when I went to farm to help farmers after work, we just make a circle and we played some game. And then when you get the penalty, you had to sing or you had to dance. So it was fun. And then also in that like helping farming time, a lot of students actually getting couples and love each other or falling in love each other or something like that. So it was fun.
So it was also a good way to meet people.
Yeah. And then good way to friendly each other and getting the kind of things.
Now, of course, every group, as you said, every group has a leader, whether it's a local village leader or in the school or in a factory or in the party. There's always some hierarchy, some structure. The one thing we know about humans is that leadership and power always create some opportunity for abuse of power or using power in the wrong way. Can you tell how did that happen? How was that? What did you experience? What kind of power abuses did you see?
So you know already the samples of the people using their power. North Korea is very rotten. The government is very rotten, and the rules everything is about the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the leader of the Inminman, she used her power, and if Jacco absent the morning activity that actually make road smooth and some kind of labor work.
Yep.
And Yuna, Jacko doesn't want to go there. And then Jacko just said, oh, you know what, leader, I feel not good. So I can just pay this much of money. Can you just, make me not to go there? And she can do it because she has power.
Right.
Nobody may complain about that because she has power. So in North Korea, police officers, they'll always get the bribery.
Bribery. Get bribes. They receive bribes.
Yeah, bribery from civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, they caught while watching South Korean dramas or singing South Korean dramas or wearing very short pants and short skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if you pay it, he will let you go.
Yeah. So
in North Korea, there is no payment or month check regularly come out from the factory or the government. There's no way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who has power, they use their power to make money.
So, and okay, that's the money aspect. But what about if, for example, if your unit leader or your cell leader doesn't like you, can they give you more work to do and make your life more difficult?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, everyone has to be in the labor work 3 times in a week, for example, but he can make me go to there 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Or he can just make me to do for his work too. You have to do this. So it's like a bullying.
And so there's also some humiliation involved in
humiliation too. Yes.
To make you feel small or insignificant.
Right. In North Korea, there is no rule to punish them like in South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a lot of like sexual harassment. Yeah, even in class and students. Usually male students treat women in wrong way. So I always say, if Me Too things in North Korea exist, 90% of North Korean men have to go to jail.
To jail, wow.
Including my father. I always make joke in front of my father. And my father agrees on that.
Gee.
Mm-hmm.
In South Korea, they talk a lot about gapjil. That's a South Korean word for kind of bullying, where people use their power to treat somebody in a less powerful position very badly. Is gapjil also a word in North Korea?
Gapjil in South Korea is not gapjil, not comparable with North Korean thing. North Korea is just like it's not even gapjil. It's just like a normal.
That's just normal.
It's daily life still. Like, I have a power, you don't have. So you're just like the word. You're not even human. So there's like a 5 or 6 different levels of the people, right? Someone who lead the country and someone who has power. Like me, when I was in a school student, I knew that my father had a power. So I just looked down on my classmates too.
And how did you treat them? What did you do to them?
Oh, you cannot talk to me. Because you're not my level.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, you're so smelly bad way. And I treated them like not even human way.
Right.
So I didn't know that was bad. But when I came to South Korea, I knew that, oh my God, North Korea is just like, it's collapsed actually. It's not even what is that, like socialism country? No. It's like there is no words to explain North Korea. It's just like a unique, crazy, and what is it? I don't know how to explain.
I've heard from some people in South Korea that, as you described there, that in North Korea there's different levels, and I've heard that even among the North Korean refugee community in South Korea, they have those same levels. So some people who were high up in North Korea, they still treat other North Koreans badly. Do you see that happening?
I see that happening because 34,000 North Korean refugees
Yes.
living in South Korea, but most of them were not have good education background because they mostly escaped from North Korea because of starvation.
Right.
So they couldn't go to school.
Yeah.
So they couldn't get the good education background. So usually someone like me or someone who graduated university, someone who went to special school class,
Yep.
people usually like, I don't want to get along with them. I want to make a group or I want to make friends, someone who had the same situation or same education background and same living life experiences like me. So usually someone who couldn't get that kind of privileged life, they hate us. That's the one reason, part of the reason we cannot actually get along with them. And then when we talk about North Korea or South Korea and then international problem or global problem, usually our words conflict and their ideas and things are conflict. So that's why they also, hate us and jealous us and some kind of like, oh, you guys had good life because of had a power or just like sucking our blood, something like that. I feel bad. I was on the Channel A program that now on my way meet you. Now on my way to meet you. Imanga.
Yes.
Oh my God, the people were there. They're always talking about how their starvation time was bad, and then something like that. They didn't even have a house and something like that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't feel that. I couldn't feel it.
Right, because your circumstances were different.
Yeah, I can understand, but I couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I was on that TV show, and people were like, Yuna, she was okay because her father was general and sucked on our blood and something like that. So I feel really sorry and I feel really, really bad at the time. Yeah, so I agree what you said. Even 34,000 North Korean refugees are divided and are not get along each other.
Now, you've become a YouTuber. You have your own channel. You're making your own content now. What is the message? What are you trying to tell people through your channel?
I made that channel not for the North Korean refugees.
Okay.
I made it for South Korean kids and South Korean people. I started my public speaker job thing and Unification Institute lecture thing.
Yep.
I found out that younger generations and the generations, they don't even curious about North Korea. They don't even know where Pakistan is. And I feel so sad because North Korea is still same peninsula, but they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't want to know, and they don't even curious about it. So then I feel like, oh, I'm in the right place and the right time to tell about North Korea.
Yeah.
The coronavirus came out. And suddenly I lost my job because there is no contacting people. And then it was illegal to gathering people. Yeah. So I did on like a Zoom meeting and then Zoom class meeting, but it has some kind of like a limit.
Yes.
So what if I had a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I just suddenly got that idea. So
Yeah.
I just opened my YouTube channel, and then the purpose of my contents and then the message I want to give, that it's about cultural unification.
Mm.
Yeah, because usually South Koreans and then the foreigners, someone who visited North Korea, and then someone who get the informations from media, they all got brainwashed because of media. So, and then also they're so focused on Kim Jong-un and then ICBM missiles, and you know, there's
Yes.
no normal North Korean people daily lives.
Right.
So I just like, okay, what if I just tell them about North Koreans' real life, daily basis and daily activities and routines? So I did. And then I just compare North Koreans' lives and South Koreans' lives, and then people liked it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing it right now.
When you tell South Korean people about what we talked about today, organizational life and the different groups and the different meetings and things, do they find it difficult to understand?
No, they understand. No, they understand, but they can feel it. But they feel grateful that they born in South Korea.
Yeah.
So usually they leave the comments below the video said about, oh, Yuna, you taught me really, really important thing that, usually South Korean people are granted to have this kind of lives. They're just born in here and they just had it.
Yeah.
But North Korean people just born there and they don't have it. So they think that, oh, I feel really, really grateful and I should be thankful to what I have right now. Like even the electricity and then hot water and cold water. So they feel like thanks to they're born in here.
Yeah.
So usually they leave that kind of comments a lot. Like, oh, you taught me really, really important message that I never thought about.
Do you, your YouTube channel name is Hanbando Kongju One Korea. Thinking about One Korea, maybe you're thinking about unification. Are you hopeful that unification between North and South Korea can be successful? And I'm talking on a cultural level. Can North Korean and South Korean people live together and make a culture together?
I wasn't thought about unification when I made that One Korea name. I just made it, we still share same food and same traditional activity, and we were still same blood, something like that. So that was the mean that I made One Korea.
Right.
And then for me, unification is really, really important and it should be happen sooner or later. But for my opinion, that I don't want unification to come suddenly. I just want to make open North Korea first, and then we just exchange the some activity, and then make North Korea grows up a little bit, and then something like the gap is more less than now.
Yeah.
Then we can just like landly, the Korean Peninsula should make one land.
Yes.
But at the beginning, I don't want the North Korea and then South Korea people just mixed at one day. I think it will bring a lot of problems.
But
culturally.
Do you think that North Korean people would be so patient and would say, oh, okay, we will wait 20, 30, 40 years? Or would they like to say, like you did when you were a university student, will they say, I want to go to South Korea now. I want to enjoy South Korean culture and lifestyle now.
No. Not all of them. Some of them, but not all of them. As I told you, we need to focus that North Korean government still exists. That means there are many people are still brainwashed and very loyal to the government. And then someone who still want to sacrifice themselves for the team.
Yeah.
That's the fact. So I don't think all of them will agree. That's why it's my opinion that we can go like two regime, but open together and work together. And then we can, make some kind of like 경제협력, like industrial way, like a gas complex.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Like a joint venture or joint
Right. Like
project.
work together.
Yeah.
And then make North Korea wealthy country. And then the level could be like, not like now we have a lot of like big, huge gap between North and South, but the gap will be less than now. Then we can, mix and we can go to North Korea, and North Korean people can come down to South Korea and make harmony together and something like that. But now it's like education background, and then everything is really, really totally different. So I don't think it's going to be easy.
Yes. Well, I hope it goes well, but of course we won't know for a while. Let's keep watching and see what happens. I want to thank you once again, Jung Yuna, for coming on the NK News podcast today and telling us about your experience with organizational life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I don't know, my English is good enough to explain about organizational life. I tried my best.
You did a great job, better than my Korean. Listeners, you can find Jung Yuna on Instagram at lovelyyuna88 and on YouTube at Hanbando Gongju 1 Korea or Jung Yuna TV. Are you also on Twitter?
No.
Not on Twitter.
Okay, I don't use Twitter.
Those two. And we'll put the links on the website so you can find them there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you already have an NK News subscription, take a look at our NK Pro platform, which offers unparalleled services specifically catered to the needs of professionals who monitor developments on the Korean Peninsula. Inquire about access at membership at nknews.org today. And don't forget, if you have feedback, questions, or guest recommendations, please send them to us at podcast@nknews.org. Our thanks, as always, to Arius Dare and Brian Betts for facilitating this podcast, and to Gabby Magnuson, our post-recording producer genius. Thanks for listening, and listen again next time.